Hi guys, it's me Kelsey. Thank you for joining me for this week's garden tour video. This week I'm going to be showing you some green beans, some zucchini, some strawberries, lots of things going on, some different flowers. I hope you enjoy it. If you are enjoying these videos, please hit subscribe and hit the like button. It would really help me out. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any suggestions on things I could improve on. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Thank you, and let's go for a walk through the garden. Starting with the zucchini bed, I'm having some issues with the white powdery mildew. I've been trying to cut off as many leaves as I can that have this without completely defoliating the plants. I've used neem oil on it, but it's hard to keep under control because it's been very wet here, and in order to really get rid of it, it has to be able to dry out. But yeah, I've been keeping it under control. The plants are still very healthy, still producing fruit. We have another zucchini here. It's our third one. So the zucchini plants are doing well with putting off fruit, and we'll continue to get more through the summer. We have another little baby 8-ball one on there, so doing very well. Over here are the yellow squash bed, and this one isn't doing as well. I don't know if it's just a later crop than the zucchinis, but my plants seem to be staying tiny. But they're putting off flowers, so they're getting ready to produce soon, hopefully. I'm really looking forward to the yellow squash because that's one of my favorites. Over here we have our green beans, and this is a whole environment in itself. We have lots of baby green beans coming. Hopefully in a few days I'll have a whole harvest of these. Underneath here is just amazing. Isn't this so cool? It kind of makes me want to like build a arch and have these go over it next year, because that would be, it's nice and cool underneath here, and there's lots of green beans, lots of little baby green beans all under here. So this is working out really well. I like how I did this year with the stakes holding these up, and they seem to be doing really well, even despite having, we have a lot of damage from the Japanese beetles, which I expected because we had Japanese beetles last year too, but we're still getting lots of fruit on this, so lots of green beans coming off, and hopefully we'll be having some good harvest of green beans soon. Our sunflowers are nice and tall. Our watermelons, we don't have any baby watermelons yet, but we're getting little flowers. Watermelons are a little bit more difficult in this area to grow, but I like to try to grow them anyways just to see what they do. Our tomatoes are doing better than what they were. Some of the plants are kind of tiny, but I've noticed that in some other gardens and stuff in this area too, that tomato plants are kind of tiny this year. I'm wondering if it's because of all the humidity and heat. Maybe they're not having enough sun to really bolt, but I am getting some baby tomatoes, which is exciting. And if you've never hand pollinated tomatoes, it's super easy. Like, I have some flowers here. All you do, like, some people use a toothbrush or a paintbrush or things like that, but I just tap it like this, and that will cause the pollen to fall inside of the flower, and it'll self-pollinate, and it works. I do that with all of my tomatoes. Over here, these tomato plants are looking a lot healthier than what they were. I did add some fertilizer and some plant food and some compost to these, so hopefully they'll start to jump up. And I pruned them back a little bit, but that didn't seem to work, so I tried amending the soil, and that seems to be helping. There's some little tomatoes on these ones too. So it seems like, because these are Roma, the center of each garden is, no, these ones are beefsteak. The center of each garden is cherry, and on this side we have the Roma. So it seems like the cherry tomatoes are gonna be ready first, which is really good. Over here we have our lettuce bed. I need to harvest this. I'll probably harvest a bunch and have a big salad for my lunch today. I'll leave some for Nick for his sandwiches. We have our red salad bowl, which is doing really good. I got a lot of weeds in here, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the plants. We got our Swiss chard, nice and healthy. Over here are the cucumber plants that are doing wonderfully. These have a little bit of the powdery mildew on them too, but it's not nearly as bad as the other ones, and I have been getting on these with the neem oil, so it's probably helping. We have this cucumber. I just harvested a big cucumber off of this one earlier, and there's another one. And then there's some coming down here too. So we're going to have lots of cucumbers, and which is wonderful because we eat cucumbers all the time, and fresh cucumbers are so much better than the store-bought ones. And over here we have our strawberries, and it seems like the little, I don't want to jinx myself, but the little chipmunk hasn't been eating as much of these. I do have some type of slug damage or something there, but we have some that are starting to pink up, and so hopefully the next couple of days we'll have a few strawberries, which is very exciting. This is my first year growing strawberries, and I was disappointed when they kept on getting eaten by critters, but they seem to be leaving them alone now, knock on wood. We got our grapes here that aren't producing fruit this year, but they probably will next year or the year after. Some cone flowers in our wild bed back here, which is very wild. We got some trees growing in there, some more cone flowers, lots of things going on here. But this is why I leave it wild, is because it does so well on its own. Our hostas have started to blossom. Aren't those just gorgeous? Beautiful. And last year I remember these being more white, but this year they're more of a purplish white, which is nice. Grapes. Yeah, these have grown tremendously. My clovers, the clovers out here are kind of taken over, but that's okay. We have the sedum, or the stone crop sedum, that is doing wonderfully. And I actually have some more succulents that I got to plant back here today. We have this wildflower that I'm not sure what it's called, but it's beautiful, so I leave it. My clematis that still hasn't blossomed, but it's happy, so maybe next year we'll get some blossoms on that. My rose bushes continue to blossom and continue to get more buds on them. This one is close to needing to be deadheaded, but not quite yet. These get so huge and beautiful. They're just wonderful. And there's a lot of new growth on here. All this is new growth this year. All this right here from about here up is new growth. So they're really healthy and happy. My red prince had one little late bloomer flower on there, which I wasn't expecting, and I'm hoping maybe we get more late bloomers on here because they're really beautiful. Pot. The lobelias in this have started to die off. I think they're getting too much sun, but that's okay. The geraniums are nice and happy in this pot, and so are the begonias. The tree garden is doing well. The ice plant is spreading, which was my goal. This makes really great ground coverage, and we're trying to have more biodiversity in our yard. And if we get more short plants that stay naturally short like this one, it'll be easier to keep it under control without needing to mow so much, and letting biodiversity do what it needs to do and let nature do what it needs to do. My Russian sage is starting to flower. Gets the pretty purple flowers on it. Let's see. angle. And this stuff smells so nice. I like to pick it and just like smell the leaves and rub it, and it's beautiful. Makes it easier to breathe too. And it the Russian sage, if you dry sage out and put it into like a fire, or if you're having like a bonfire or something, if you put it in the fire, it'll help keep mosquitoes away. It's a natural repellent. My cottage rose has some, well, dead twigs on there, but it also has some new buds coming. And the moss rose looks like it has some more buds coming. Still a happy little plant. We have the lilies out here. This one's healthy. That one has a dandelion growing next to it, but the squirrels ran these two over, so they're dead. But they'll come back next year. They still got the bulbs. But that one's healthy and happy. Part of my flower bed is the balloon flowers. They're all blossoming and so gorgeous, and I just get so happy when these blossom. They're so beautiful. You can see them from down the street when you're driving up, and they look so nice. Hostas look a little bit rough right now, but they're actually doing better than what they were. They have some slug damage on them, but they had heat damage, and then we had hail about a week and a half ago, I think, and these were just, they looked almost dead, but now they are looking so much healthier and happier, and I'm glad that they're making a recovery. Even if they do have slug damage, they're still doing better. This pot here, I had to move it because it was getting too much sun. The geraniums weren't enjoying it. The lobelias are starting to make a little bit of a comeback over here, so yeah, hopefully that one gets happier and happier. We have our petunias. They're doing nicely. More hostas that are blossoming. We have our delphiniums back here, down here, doing wonderfully. And I hope, these are another one that I hope spread throughout the yard, because they make great ground coverage. They're so pretty, they stay short, and it'll add a lot of variety to our yard. The hollyhocks, another one of my favorites, because they're so beautiful, and I really hope that these get as voluminous as the balloon flowers, because I think they would look gorgeous next to each other, like blossoming at the same time, you know, these two. And then we have our annual pot up here. These lobelias, and all three pots are not doing well. I don't know. And this one is full shade, so it shouldn't be affecting it. This one has some natural dead stuff in there. It's not a sick plant or anything. It just goes through its cycles just like we do. Goes through its seasons just like everything else. So you just gotta get some of the dead stuff off there, so it'll focus on making new live stuff. Gotta get rid of the dead before the good can come. My chives are almost ready to blossom. Look how cool that looks. Can you guys see that? They're almost opening up, but not quite. We have our peony tree, healthy and happy as usual. Camera's not focusing. There we go. Beautiful. My marigold pot has started to blossom. And these are little itty bitty marigolds, but they're doing really well. More petunias. And then I can't remember what I planted in here. I know I thought I had some black eye Susans. This looks like a sweet pea. Look how beautiful. And this is one plant with two different colors on it like that. Gorgeous. Bought some more petunias yesterday. They were on clearance at Walmart for 85 cents, I think. And I'm going to plant these today. Me and my Walmart rescues. They were actually taking pretty good care of their clearance plants at the Walmart I was at yesterday, so I was happy to see that. And these guys needed a home, and I want to add a little pop of color to this area because pretty soon the tiger lilies are going to be done for the season. And I want to keep things colorful, you know, keep it interesting. The white Asiatic lilies are on their last blossom, and they're doing well. These lilies are so healthy and happy right here. This was a great spot for them. Hostas here, nice and healthy. My cactuses, here's an interesting story. I was digging up compost to put in the tomatoes, and I found this little guy right here. This cactus was buried in the compost, and I don't know how it got there or who put it there. Nick didn't even know I grow cactus, so he had nothing to do with it. And I'm thinking whatever ate them or tried to eat them took it over there and buried it in the compost, trying to hide it or something. And I have a feeling it was the woodchuck that hangs out back there once in a while. But yeah, I found this, and it's healthy. It's a healthy cactus, so I brought it back over here, and hopefully it does just as good as these guys are doing. This guy has grown quite a bit. He has a baby on top of him. Same with that one. That one looks like it's making a recovery. This one is alive, but has seen better days. Knockout rosebush. And this one, typically these continuously blossom, but this guy had a lot of the gypsy moth damage, so I think it's recovering from that. It's still healthy. It's still a healthy plant, just it's working on making new leaves instead of making new blossoms. More hostas here. Gorgeous. These ones have buds on them too. And these look like they're going to be a different type of flower than this one because it doesn't have the long stem. Sunflowers starting to get buds. This rose bush has a little nub in there, which looks like usually if it gets the red leaves like this, that's where it'll start to get more buds on it. So hopefully this one by next week will have some more blossoms coming. More sunflowers. The apple tree, you can tell the apples are apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the one over here has been hiding behind a leaf lately, right here. 5. And the Japanese beetles always cover these trees. They love the apple trees, and this is why we need chickens or something to eat these. So the chickens will eat the Japanese beetles, but we're not allowed to have chickens right now. The Rose of Sharon is starting to get flowers on it. This whole bush will be covered in red and pink flowers, and they're gorgeous. The Black Eye Susans over here are doing really beautifully. When we got it, it was a 4 foot to 5 foot, so it was about right here. And now look how tall it's getting. It's going to be huge. It's going to be taller than our house eventually. I'll have to get a ladder once it gets apples on it. This apple tree is doing really well too, making a nice recovery from the gypsy moth damage, and luckily the Japanese beetles have not found this one yet, so it'll be able to recover really well, I hope. Thank you for joining me for this week's garden tour video. If you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps me out. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I really enjoy making these videos, and I really hope you guys enjoy watching them. Thanks. Bye.